Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi amma ba'du. Again, I greet the students. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our Thursday evening Quranic presentation. We're looking at chapter 16, verse 125. We're continuing through the chapter 16. Looking at a couple of sources, Ragib, Ibn Arabi, and contrasting that with Imam W.D. Muhammad. We're going to look at three areas today because these classes, these presentations, I'm addressing the weekend classes. And there are three areas that the classes are involved in now with Mali. Those who cannot read the words, they don't recognize words, can't read the words, they will start with Dr. Zaid. Then once you can read the words, if you like, you can come and start with Mali. We get into the grammar right away. So our classes are three different areas or levels, however you want to put it. One class is looking at conjugations, the conjugation, and the 10 forms, the forms of nouns and verbs. Another class is looking at Ragib, a couple of classes, Ragib. There's a couple of classes with conjugation and the 10 forms, maybe 2 or 3 classes looking at Ragib and writing reflections. And then the more advanced class is looking at all of the sources, Ragib, including Ibn Arabi. So I'll take my time and point out some things for each class, and most of it, of course, will be for the more advanced classes. So we began with chapter 16, verse 125. So it reads, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ud'u, we say ud'u, ud'u. This is going to be Form 1 command. Form 1 command, and it's a verb that has a sick letter as part of its root. The 3 root letters is da, a, and wa. Da, a, wa. Those are the 3 root letters. But when you have the command and the root letter is the 3rd letter, like the wow, then it drops out. You drop the wow and you keep the dhamma. So it would be ud-u. Ud-u. So that's ud-u. This is one of the words we're going to look up. Ud-u. Ila sabili rabbika, to the way of your Lord. Ud-u, to the way of your Lord. Bil hikmati is one of the words that we're going to look up. We look it up. So the students, you have to pay attention because I'm talking to students now, not outside of my students, though they will benefit also. So we're going to say bil hikmati, which one of the key words we're going to look at. Wal ma'idati, another key word. Al hasanati, excellent. So with hikmati, wa al ma'idati, excellent, excellent ma'idati. This ends in a kasra. This word ends in a kasra. They both have alif lam, so they're coming after the wow. So this will be in the adjective, excellent ma'ida. And this ma'ida is in sequence to hikmah. So you say al-hikmati wal ma'idati al-hasanati. Excellent ma'ida. When وَجَادِلْهُمْ Jadil, this would be a verb, but it's formed 3 verbs now. It's formed 3 verbs, and it's in the command, you masculine singular. Command. Jadilhum. So you want to jadilhum, jadil them. Whom is the pronoun them. And we'll look this word up. Billati, with that which, hiya ahsanu. It is the most excellent. That's the part we're going to look at today. So this is on recording, so when you go back and listen to the recording, and then the words here, Ud'u, Bil Hikmati, Wal Maw'izati, and Jadilhum. We go back, like when you're doing your reflections, and replace the words here, put the meaning that you were getting of these words, you put them in these places. And that creates the reflection. That's for the more advanced class. So the first word, ud'u, ad-du'a'u. Ad-du'a'u kan-nida'u. So ad-du'a'u is from, it's ud'u. Ad-du'a'u is the internal noun of ud'u. And here we're going to get the meaning. The meaning we're going to extract from ad-du'a'u. And he's saying, this is Rajab, he's saying, ad-du'a'u kan-nida'u. It's like nida'u is called. It's like calling. But du'a is like nida'. It's calling. وَقَدْ يُسْتَعْمَلُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ. So each one of them, of the two, minhuma, each one of the two is used مَوْضِعَ الْآخِرِ, in the place of the other. They're interchangeable. Ad-du'a and nida is interchangeable in that it means C-A-L-L, call. So here we will put call. It's nida. So call after Allah, he said, the Most High, كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْئِكُ, like the example of those يَنْئِكُ. He cries out, بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ, but he doesn't hear. He doesn't hear what's called, but he doesn't hear إِلَّا الدُّعَاءً. He only hears du'a'an. He only hears the call. When nida'an, and the call. Based on the meaning that we have here. Du'a'an wa nida'an. He only hears the call. He cannot interpret the articulation. Like animals. Like the animals who only hear the call. That's what we can say. So as-sabilu, another key word, sabil. But I'm not going to underline it. Sabil is at-tariqu alladhi fihi suhulatun. Sabil is the road or the way which is, we could say, easiness. Easiness is in it. Sabil is ease. It's an easy road to follow. Sabil. So call to Sabili Rabbika, and easy. to a way that's easy, a way of your Lord that's easy. Now, when you are calling someone to the way of your Lord, the way you call them, you have to make it easy for them to follow along that path. So when Islam goes to a people, you don't present Islam in a way, we're going to find, that's difficult, that's harsh. You present it in a way that's easy for the people. You find the people where they're at and present it to them where they're at. Not trying to change them and make them like you. Make it easy for them. Ud'u, so Ibn Arabi, he says, Ud'u ila sabili rabbika, and this is meaning, etc., to the end. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika, ay litakun da'watuka. Let your da'wah. See, this is the word for da'wah. We know, many of you know this word da'wah. You know the word du'a. You know the word du'a? The du'a is a call. When the call is from the lower to the higher, it's a du'a. When it's from the higher to the lower, it's a command. So we have du'a, and now we have da'wah. So in our du'a, there's da'wah. It's da'wah. Da'wah is a du'a. And let your da'wah be munhasaratan. Munhasaratan. Let your da'wah be let's see, munhasara. Let it be limited. Let your da'wah be limited. Munhasara. Let it be limited. في هذه الوجوه, in these three الثلاثة, in these three views that we're going to present. Limit your da'wah to these three views. And the three views we have is going to be al-hikmah, al-ma''idah, and jadal. To these three. So what Ibn Arabi is doing here, we can see that he's extracting from the verse, and we can extract from this verse, based upon Arabi, to establish a custom on how we are to do da'wah, how we are to present the religion. When we're presenting this religion to someone, when we're presenting the Quran to someone, you want to present it to them so it would be easy on them. Sabili rabbika. You want to make it easy for them. So we want to extract a way, a method in presenting the da'wah from this verse. So the first is bil hikmati. We say bil hikmati. So let's look at this word from Maraga first. Hakama asluhu. Hakama asluhu. Its root. Hakama, its root is mana'a man'an. Li islahi. That's preventing something for reconciliation. Yes. preventing it in order to reconcile for betterment, reconciliation. This is hakana. ومنه, and from it, sumiyat al-lijamu. And from it, the bridle is named. The bridle is named from the name hakana. Fakila, so it is said, hakamtu at-dabbata. Meaning, I prevented the animal at that. I'm going to translate here. I prevented the animal li-islahin for the betterment, for reconciliation, saying that mana'atuha bil hikmati. I prevented it bil hikmati, with hikmah. With a prevention that will bring about a reconciliation, to bring about a better situation. We use the bridle. The bridle is used to hakam at that, to restrict the animal in order to reconcile, to prevent the animal from straying. So Ibn Arabi here, he says, فَإِنْ كَانَ الْأَوَّلَ. So if it was the first, if it's the first call you're making, the first call, فَدْعُهُ, then call him bil-hikmati, with hikmati. Call him with hikmati, meaning that you're preventing them from something, from straying, let's say, in order that you reconcile the life. When you go and you're presenting Islam to someone, you want to present it in a way, you want to give them an easy route that prevents them from straying, that's preventing them from straying, bring them back on the right course. وَكَلَّمْهُ, and speak to him bil-burhani, with proofs. وَالْحَجَّةِ, and with arguments, proofs and arguments. وَحْدِهِ, and guide him ila siratil tawheed, and guide him to the path of tawheed, the path of oneness. Bil-ma'rifati, with knowledge, recognition, that the person is able to recognize. I'm going to add. Some of this I'm not translating literally, but just saying a little more that you get the idea. This is the first step. This is the first. You're going to do it with hikmah. And then we go to the next step. The next step is with ma'o'idah, el-ma'o'idah. And from ma'o'idah, we give the meaning of ma'o'idah, el-wa'du. The internal noun is el-wa'du. Huwa at-tazkiru bil-khayri. فيما يرق له القلب. هو التذكير. It is mentioning, or we could say mentioning or reminding, بالخير, with good. موعظة. فيما, in what يراق له القلب, and what the heart feels compassionate for, what the heart is softened for. You see how if we're looking at Quran, Bil Quran, we take these ideas and put it back in the verse and look at it. And we will look at how the Quran is defining itself. This is all what we're saying, dawah, how we are to present dawah. So if the first way with bil hikmah that you see is not applicable, because hikmah may be too harsh. So he says, "When in kana kasiran," this is with Ibn Arabi now. This is Ibn Arabi continuing. This is Maghrib here. A Ragib. This is Ragib. Ibn Arabi continues by saying, وَإِنْ كَانَ قَاصِرَ الْإِسْتِعْدَادِ. So if he is somewhat deficient in his preparation, in the preparation for what you're presenting, his soul is not at that time and place is not prepared for the hikmah. You can't reach everyone with hikmah. If you can't reach them with hikmah, because he's not prepared for that. His soul is not prepared for that. Like what I am doing, I am presenting this Quran bil hikmah. But everyone is not prepared for it. Every soul may not be prepared for it. And if I force it on you, it'll be too harsh. So Fad'u, then call him bil mau'izati, with mau'izah. Call him with the reminders of good, of what's good, that the heart will have a compassion for it, with something good. Say something good. Present the religion that they will know it's good, it's a good thing, without the idea of a lot of proofs that you're presenting, arguments and proofs, so forth and so on, with evidence. They may not be prepared for all of that. So just give it in a way that is good, and the heart responds to it. El Hasana. This is Mau'izati El Hasana, with excellent Mau'izah. When Nasiha and Nasiha El Baliga, and serious. This word Nasiha, sometimes we see it as advice, with serious advice, sincere. Baliga, sincere. Baliga is also say mature, not silliness. You want to have excellent mau'izah, but be sincere and serious advice that you are giving. Min al-indari, from the warning. Wal bisharati, and from good news, good information. When you read the Quran, once we learn to read the Quran, especially in the Arabic text, when I say read the Quran, I'm not speaking translation, because my mind doesn't go to translation. I haven't read translations in over 40 years, so I'm talking about the Arabic. When you read the Quran, you'll see it has in it, the verses have in it good news, but it also has in it warnings. It's together. The good news and the warning come together. Well, wa'di, and their promises, well, wa'idi, and their threats. So all of this is in your nasiha and the mau'izah. Well, zajri, and we could say with zajri, meaning reprimanding them, with tarhibi, and even intimidating. But it has to be excellent mau'izah, excellent reminders that you're appealing to the heart, though it's a reprimand, though they're threats, though it may be intimidating. But remember, the dua sabil is make it easy. Well, lutfi, and civility. Be very civil about it. وَالتَّرْغِيبِ, and attractive, very attractive. This is the dawah. Dawah is not warfare. Don't always present Islam to someone as though you're in a war and you want to destroy them. No, you want to be kind and gentle, lutfi, and civil, and make it easy for them to grasp, based upon isti'dad. We say I hear the young man say, meet them where they're at. Isti'dad. How much are they prepared for? They may not be prepared for the hikmah, as I'm saying, so give them mau'izah. Many of us use this form of presenting Islam, mau'izah. It's good and excellent preaching, reminding. Most of us, that's what we're hearing. And most of us are attracted to. We're attracted to it. Our hearts are attracted to it. Yes. Our hearts are not attracted to hikmah, to a lot of hikmah. We will see. I'm not translating some of these words on purpose because this is a class. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm here to bring hikmah, not preaching. And this is for the advanced. This is not for the common audience. Al-Jidalu, so the third after these two. After hikmah, al-hikmah, wal-ma'izah, then we have al-jadilhu. Jadil. So jadil is from the internal noun al-jidalu. Al-jidalu. And it's al-mufawadatu. Al-mufawadatu, it's discussions, negotiations, discussions, ala sabili al-munaza'ati, upon the way of contention and struggle. See, you try to meet them with hikmah and you find they can't handle it. They're not prepared for it. Then you try mau'izah. They may be in a certain station in life where they're not responding even to mau'izah. Then you have to jadilhu. Then you have to have discussions and with them upon the way of munaza'ati, of struggle. You have to be strong with them. There may be contention and what have you. Well, moghalabati, and force in the jadil, because we say jadil is form 3, so you may find contention and force in the presentation between each other and how you're presenting it. They may reject it. They may argue back with it. It may not be in the place where their heart is grasping it, even the beauty of it. So jadilhu, that's the last result. Wa asluhu, and its root is jadalatu al-habla, meaning I jadalatu the rope. That is to say, ahkamtu. We'll come back to it. Ahkamtu. He's defining jadalatu with ahkamtu, which is from al-hikmah. So it said ahkamtu faslahu in terms of the rope. Ahkamtu faslahu, meaning I twisted the rope, the strands. I twisted them in a sabil, in a nice, easy way. The strands. I come to its strands. Faslahu was the strands. So I took the strands and twisted them to make the rope stronger. But maybe it took a little force, took a little more work than when you use a mau'izah. But nevertheless, you're applying the hikmah. Hikmah is in all of it. The hikmah is in the jadal. The hikmah is in the mau'izah. And then the hikmah is, as we say, straight. It's hikmah. Straight logic, straight wisdom, logic, however you translate this word. But now, one thing that you want to notice when we start looking at the Quran from the Arabic text and from the Arabic to Arabic, you may see things different than what you're used to seeing. So once you come to Mani, don't get so locked in to translation, because you're going to see things, you're going to see ideas, you're going to see concepts and ideas that you haven't seen before, because now you're looking at Arabic defined by Arabic. That's why I'm not translating these words the way you normally see them, or you'll get confused. If I try to translate these words, especially from the dictionary, the Arabic dictionary, in a way that you're used to hearing it, you'll get confused in reading this Arabic. So this opens up a new corridor of the mind for you to travel and go down when you're looking at Arabic, defining Arabic. So Ibn Arabi says to this is Jidal from Ragib. Ibn Arabi says of it, وَإِنْ كَانَ مُنْكَرًا. So the first one is if they can respond to hikmah. If they can't, mau'izah. If they're a little short, they're not prepared for the hikmah, mau'izah. Now, if they're in a state of munkar is denial. That jahl. If they're in a state of denial, possessing ignorance, murakaban, fixed. They're fixed in their ignorance. They're in a state of ignorance to the point that they can't respond to mau'izah because of they're in the state of denial and they're ignorant. واعتقادي and اعتقادي الباطلي and their belief of falsehood, their convictions of falsehood. Yes, their conviction of falsehood. They're steeped in it, fixed in it. Then فَجَادِلْهُ. We define جِدَالُ فَجَادِلْهُ. So have a discussion with them and using struggle and force because of the state of ignorance that they're in. بِالطَّرِيقَةِ, with the path or the way, التي هي أحسن, which is more excellent من إبطال معتقده, is more excellent than the falsehood of their beliefs. See, if you have to really argue with them, you have to struggle with them because of their state of their soul being so influenced to the point of them being fixed in their ignorance. It's going to take a little more struggle, and they're in denial at the same time. But even in this presentation, and even in this kind of presentation, you have to be more excellent than the falsehood of their belief. By what yulzamu min madhabihi, by what they have attached themselves to from their school of thought, from their thinking, madhab, from his school of thought. These are the three views that are given of ud'u ila rabbika. Ud'u ila rabbika, given in these three methods, these three views that we're presented here today. Based upon this, we have the comment from Imam W.D. Muhammad contrasted to what we're saying. So he says, so we are to debate them or argue with them. You can see the jadil, ma'ida, with wisdom and logic, with hikmah. Debate them or argue with them with bil hikmah. For hikmah, he's translating as wisdom and logic. Jadil and jadilhu is to debate them or argue them, but still with wisdom and logic. Hikmah, from our good spirit, ma'ida, sentiments, and good feelings. I'm saying this from the Imam, but you're seeing all three concepts in the statement. You see jadilhu, you see hikmah, and you see ma'ida. You see jadilhu, hikmah, and ma'ida. If you are already angry with them, then you can't argue with them. Do not approach them in terms of jidal, to argue with them, and you find them in a state of ignorance. You can't approach them like that. Because then you are not in the condition to fulfill the requirement, the required speech. This should be the required speech. You're not in a condition to fulfill the required speech, which is being beautiful and excellent. Ahsana. That's the requirement of all, even for jidal. Debate and arguing, you still have to be excellent. Your speech has to be beautiful and excellent in all three categories. I thank you for your time. And at 8 o'clock, we will come back at 8 o'clock for questions and answers. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.